¿Ya escuchaste hablar de G-Fiber? Te ofrecen velocidades de hasta 8 gigas en ciertas ciudades. Sí, 8 gigabytes. No importa para qué los necesites. Trabajar en casa, estudiar o crear contenido. El Internet G-Fiber te da la velocidad que necesitas para hacerlo todo. Podrás conectar cada uno de tus dispositivos sin perder velocidad. No es por nada que G-Fiber ha ganado innumerables premios. Busca tu dirección e inscríbete en fiber.google.com.
This episode of the D-Lou podcast is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. As someone who's used Goalie for quite some time, I can tell you that they're not only very good, but they're very beneficial. My favorite are the Super Green Gummies. The Super Green Gummies are uniquely crafted with a spectrum of essential nutrients such as vitamins A, B12, folic acid, and thiamine. It supports a healthy liver function, healthy nervous and immune system, digestive health, a boost to your metabolism, and overall health and well-being. There are no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors from artificial sources. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and gelatin-free. All loyal listeners of the D-Lou podcast get a special 10% discount at checkout. Go to goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. That's goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. WWE Universe, the D-Lou podcast is now a brand affiliate of WWE Shop with Fanatics. Get all of your latest merchandise from your favorite WWE superstars and wear them proud. So if it's CM Punk, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, L.A. Knight, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, or legends like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Bret the Hitman Hart, again, you can get all of your favorite merchandise over at wrestling.thedlupodcast.com. Again, that's wrestling.thedlupodcast.com to get all of your favorite merchandise at WWE Shop with Fanatics. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lou podcast brought to you by the Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick and Lewis. I hope the week and I hope this episode is finding you all doing great. You know, this past weekend, as I alluded to last week's episode, me and Gabi, it was getting prepared to watch the Elimination Chamber premium live event on the WWE Network on Peacock, and that would require, me to get up very, very early, in which I did. I had set my alarm, believe it or not, for 4:15, 4:30, and 4:45, and of course 5 a.m. because the event was starting at 5, but of course, the pre-show is going to start at 4 a.m. So I actually did get up on time and was waiting for the event to start. And I got to tell you, I actually didn't mind. I didn't mind, watching wrestling really, really early in the morning. It was different. And I kind of see how our brothers and sisters, overseas go through when they have to wake up, super, super early in the morning to watch, premium live events on the regular whenever an event is taking place here in the States. So kudos to everyone, all of us that got up early. I mean, heck, if you're on the West Coast, the pre-show started at 1 a.m. You know what I mean? Or 2, I think, that was 4. Yeah, 1 a.m. So people had to get up, or probably people didn't go to bed if you're on the West Coast. So, it started out with the pre-show panel was Megan Morant, Peter Rosenberg, and Sam Roberts. Shout out to Sam Roberts. I actually had the opportunity to go to Dave LaGreca's event that took place at the Gramercy Theater a few weeks ago, and Sam Roberts was one of the special guests. And kudos to him because his wife just had a baby. Maybe a day or two before that, and he still, showed up for the event. So kudos to Sam Roberts, and it was a nice, preview, as far as breaking down all the matches, what it means going into WrestleMania, and of course there was the pre-show match that kicked off, and that was the women's tag team championships. Obviously the Kabuki Warriors representing the new version of Damage Control, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defended against Candice LeRae and the hometown girl, Indy Hartwell, who is from Australia. So it was nice to showcase some Australian talent that's in the WWE. A little back and forth. The match was only 8 minutes, well, close to 9 minutes. It was nice back and forth. Everyone got their shine. Obviously the heels getting the heat when they need to. And, of course, the Women's Tag Team Championships remains with the Kabuki Warriors with an insane elbow off the top rope from Kairi Sane. And then, of course, we start off, with the event, the actual, the live event itself, the main card. And it starts off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which had Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton. And if I could say, and I called into Busted Open Radio later that day, actually, and I talked about, a star was born on the Elimination Chamber. Her name was Tiffany Stratton. Now, she was getting cheers from a lot of the Australian fans. So I'm wondering, is that going to translate to the American fans? Sometimes internationally, you may get a different response than here in the States. It just really depends. Tiffany, for her to have only been wrestling maybe 2 years or 3 years or how long it's been, it's incredible to see how fast she's caught on to pro wrestling and how damn good she is at it. And she did a swanton off the top of one of the pods. And it was a pile of the women, obviously. And she, she did her thing. And she was actually the one that eliminated Naomi, who was the first eliminated in that match. Tiffany Stratton eliminated her. And then Tiffany Stratton then got eliminated by Liv Morgan. Raquel Rodriguez got eliminated by Bianca Belair. Then Bianca got eliminated by Liv Morgan. And of course, Liv Morgan gets eliminated by Becky Lynch, who then wins the Women's Elimination Chamber match and will go on to face whoever was going to walk out of the Women's World Championship match later on in the show. So, like I said, kudos to all 6 women that, showcased what they could do in that ring. Was I surprised by it? Absolutely not. And let me just say this also. Bianca Belair, her game, as an in-ring competitor has just stepped up several notches, even since last WrestleMania. I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't good, but to see how smooth she's gotten in the ring and turning into a ring general, I love her work. And again, she's only been at it, maybe since 2015, 2016. The sky's the limit for her. So we'll see, who she's going to be facing at WrestleMania. I have a feeling that we'll see a Tiffany Stratton Bianca Belair match at WrestleMania. Because, I mean, granted, most of the women's matches, singles matches, it doesn't have to be for a title. Or it doesn't have to be a makeshift 6-woman tag team. I think you should have one-on-one matches that doesn't really mean it's for a title. It's just more or less for bragging rights. Who's better than the EST or, Buff Barbie? We don't know. So we'll find out as time moves forward. We're under 40 days away from WrestleMania as we're recording this right now. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how this all progresses. Up next, we have the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, which includes the new Catch Republic, which is Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne challenging the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Mr. Money in the Bank Damian Priest, accompanied by Dirty Dom. Of course, they're doing the big match introductions. Mike Rome's in the ring. He introduces the challengers. And, of course, Dom takes the mic from Mike Rome. And, of course, he gets a chorus of boos. I mean, Dominic Mysterio has to be probably one of the most hated wrestlers, not just in WWE, but the entire wrestling industry. And I say that with the biggest compliment in the world, because as a heel, as a bad guy, you don't want people cheering for you. You don't want, people singing your praises. You want people to say you're the biggest piece of crap walking God's green earth. You want that. And Dom is living up to every degree of that. And you could barely hear him speaking while he was doing the in-ring introduction. I'm in my bed just laughing, belly laughing. It was so funny. But before I start in regards to the match, one shot that the camera crew, and that's when I was saying on last week's episode how I'm really loving WWE's, production now. They did a nice sky cam shot of the sunset that was behind the stadium. Oh my God. it was absolutely breathtaking. For those that didn't watch Elimination Chamber, I urge you, because I mean, just seeing how the Judgment Days, obviously the lights were out a little bit, and you saw the purple, going up the steel, the beams and things like that, and you're seeing his son, just like, oh man, it was amazing to see. But again, everything I expected, and more. I mean, it was a seesaw battle. Obviously you have 4 seasoned veterans in that ring that knows what to do. Tyler Bate hit the Top Con Hilo through the ropes on Priest. And, of course, Dom Mysterio had, he pulled Priest's foot off the rope. And, of course, Ref Bay, Daphne LaShawn, told Dom to get the step in, and she kicked him out of the ringside area. And Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate hit the double Tyler Driver 97 and the double Birminghammer, which is Gabi Tuff's the version of Gabi Tuff's Burning Hammer when she wrestled for WWE many, many, many years ago. But of course, it was a near fall. Then of course, Damian Priest hit the double South of Heaven chokeslam on both, and of course, Finn Balor hit the coup de grace 1, 2, 3. Still undisputed tag team champions, the Judgment Day. And again, there's so many questions we have now. Which tag team is going to challenge for the titles at WrestleMania? And also Damian Priest has this briefcase. When is he going to cash in? Is he going to cash in during WrestleMania? Is he going to pull a Dolph Ziggler and cash in on that Monday night? We don't know. I mean, Philly is the perfect city to do it. Just saying. So we take a break from wrestling a little bit, and we start with the Grayson Waller Effect, starring Grayson Waller, who is from Australia, and it's his talk show. It's the modern day, you want to say Piper's Pit, or a new version of Miz TV. I think it's cool. He has to have the ability to not only wrestle and not only talk, but having the belief from management that, hey, we want you to have these TV segments with you hosting. That says a lot about the human being, Grayson Waller, and how talented he is. But also, Austin Theory comes out with him to host the show. And, of course, the guests were going to be Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. And Grayson Waller, before the segment began, he shared a shoey with this UFC fighter. I think a shoey is when you put beer in a shoe and you chug it. I'm not a beer guy. Proud to be straight edge, but that was still a cool moment regardless. So, of course, Rollins and Cody comes out. Of course, Cody has a huge, huge, huge pop with the big whoa in his song. And they get in the ring, and Seth Rollins goes on the mic, and he basically announces that he is fully cleared to wrestle, and he's all good for WrestleMania, which is music to a lot of fans' ears, because, again, messing with a knee injury is no joke. And the fact that he's able to get around and was able to work through it through obviously physical therapy, rehab, whatever you call it. Kudos to Seth for working through that and making sure that he was ready to go at WrestleMania. Then Cody gets on the microphone and he's talking about obviously everything that's transpired, everything that's going on, and he issues a challenge to The Rock. Anytime, anywhere. Now, we've indicated on this show, and I'm pretty sure everyone, that's in the wrestling content space, that we're projecting that a tag team match is going to take place between Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So, because what happened after that is that Seth Rollins affirmed, to Cody that he won't be alone facing the Bloodline. So Austin Theory then grabs the microphone and he starts yapping off at the mouth, and he's doing all of The Rock's catchphrases, and of course, Rollins and Cody are egging him on. And the next thing you know, Austin Theory does "If You Smell," and Cody grabs him by the head and runs his head into, I think, one of the cardboard cutouts of Grayson Waller while he was still saying "smell," which I thought was funny. And he hits the Cody Cutter, And of course, Seth Rollins does the curb stomp on him, and make the fans, cheer and all that. Babyfaces are standing tall in the ring.
¿Ya escuchaste hablar de G-Fiber? Te ofrecen velocidades de hasta 8 gigas en ciertas ciudades. Sí, 8 gigabytes. No importa para qué los necesites. Trabajar en casa, estudiar o crear contenido. El Internet G-Fiber te da la velocidad que necesitas para hacerlo todo. Podrás conectar cada uno de tus dispositivos sin perder velocidad. No es por nada que G-Fiber ha ganado innumerables premios. Busca tu dirección e inscríbete en fiber.google.com.
Myrtle Beach is the beach. 60 miles of bright sand, water, and a wealth of wonderful music playing day and night. You can step into a simple beach bar and discover a surprising level of exciting musical talent. A place to kick back and groove to the enticing soundtrack of the most unexpected vacations around. With nothing but good vibes floating through the warm ocean air. Plan your own music-filled trip to America's Jukebox at visitmyrtlebeach.com.
At Mayo Clinic in Florida, we are predicting the unpredictable. Our experts are using a patient's own anatomy to create 3D printed, life-size organ models to map out challenges ahead of time, making complex surgeries more precise, efficient, and less invasive. We are making more possible at Mayo Clinic because every day we're doing what's never been done. Learn more at mayoclinic.org/possible. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
You like to watch new stuff, right? Well, go to Hulu and see what's new, because Hulu has new stuff all the time. Like Vanderpump Villa, the new docudrama starring Lisa Vanderpump, where first-class luxury meets world-class drama. A new season of The Kardashians starring The Kardashians, of course. And Grand Cayman, Secrets in Paradise, the sizzling new reality show set in the tropical Caribbean. It's all new and it's streaming now on Hulu.
There we go. So now up next is the men's Elimination Chamber match that includes Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Logan Paul and Randy Orton. And you kind of knew who was going to walk out of there, but I love the fact that, they really painted the picture of we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, who's going to walk out of this chamber, going to challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So to start the match, you had LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. Then, of course, Kevin Owens, he's the first one to come out of the pod first. Then Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, then Logan Paul. But while the match is going on, you see Logan Paul drawing on the bulletproof plexiglass, drew some devil horns, and he said Kevin Owens sucks, I think is what he said. He wrote on the glass, writing it backwards, what I might add, which is pretty cool. And he was literally trying to draw an illustration of Kevin Owens. And, of course, Kevin Owens eventually just beats the crap out of him. And I mean, not only just beat the crap out of him, but he literally sent him through that plexiglass. And it was not pretty. But, of course, Owens does get eliminated, by Randy Orton after he gave him the RKO. The Logan Paul, of course, he's gloating and he has the brass knucks on, but Orton hits him with an RKO out of nowhere. He pins him 1, 2, 3. But Logan Paul still had the brass knucks on. He hit him with the one lucky punch, and Drew McIntyre got the pin and is moving on to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm torn by this because I think we all know that this was supposed to have been CM Punk. Had Punk, won this Elimination Chamber, if he was not injured, he probably would have won this Elimination Chamber and would have faced Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But, injuries do happen in pro wrestling, and, wishing Punk nothing but the best in his speedy recovery and coming back. But, of course, up next is the main event for the Women's World Championship. Nia Jax is challenging the champion, Australia's own Rhea Ripley. And of course, as me and Gabi were talking about last week, granted they're both heels, but Rhea Ripley, we all knew was going to be the babyface in this match, coming back home to her home country, an even bigger star than she was a year ago. And, they put on a great match. The match was 14 minutes, 35 seconds. I mean, everything I expected, for them to go in there and work. And Nia Jax, again, I keep saying it, and it's so true. I mean, she has just gotten so much better. I think that time away from the company when she was let go, I want to say 2021. I think that time away did her a greater good because, sometimes you need to get away, get it out your system and find that love, find that passion back again. And like I said, she looks in incredible shape. She moves around great and such a believable character. And she knows who she is now. She's confident, as I said before. But, of course, she hits the Annihilator, a.k.a. the Bonsai Drop, by, of course, Yokozuna made that move famous. And Rhea kicked out at 2. And she kicked out and, she hit obviously there was a Samoan drop and all these, these big, moving, but still, Rhea was getting up. And of course, Rhea hits Nia with a suplex and the riptide to get the 1, 2, 3. And she retains the championship and she goes on to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. We got Mommy versus the Man. I think that is going to be a stellar match. I think that should close out night number 1. But the cool thing was seeing Rhea with her family who was at ringside, celebrating. And, man, the pyro's going off. Everyone's going crazy. And on Twitter, I think it may have been Instagram too, you saw a shot of Becky Lynch watching the match from the crowd, from the end, near the back area, but she was out in the stadium area near the fans, and she congratulated Rhea, and she said, "I'll see you at WrestleMania." So that was a nice little message, to say, "Hey, I see you, champ, but I'll be seeing you at WrestleMania." So I love the fact that they were able to catch that moment of her watching Rhea celebrate. The man is coming to WrestleMania, and I'm coming to take your title. So, like I said, I hope they close, but again, we'll see. Well, that does it for Elimination Chamber. And to be honest with you, now that we have all these weeks ahead until WrestleMania, it kind of sucks that there's not a March pay-per-view, but I understand they want to give all the attention necessary to build up for these next, 7 weeks or whatever it is that we're at now, for WrestleMania. And again, I'm hopeful, very, very hopeful that no wrestler is injured going into this event, because we had Punk that was injured and we had Seth that was injured, but now he's cleared to wrestle. So, like I said, I'm just looking forward to WrestleMania, what it's going to bring. But of course, there was the aftermath of the Elimination Chamber, and that was this past Monday's Monday Night Raw. I'll just go over some of the highlights. Obviously it opened up with Becky Lynch, letting the world know, hey, she won Elimination Chamber and she's going to face, Rhea Ripley, and they both come out and they said what they both had to say when went face to face, and of course Nia Jax comes out and sneak attacks Becky Lynch, and man, that was something. I hope they don't make that a triple threat match, but again, you never know. But even if Becky does win if she wins the match at WrestleMania, I think Nia Jax would be the perfect opponent for her, now she's chasing the title, you know what I mean? And now that Becky has to get that win back, because Becky lost to Nia Jax earlier this year in San Diego on Raw. So that was a nice opening segment. And then, of course, the last segment of the night was Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller. And again, solid match. And, Cody does win. Afterwards, Paul Heyman comes down. I think right during, I don't know if it was the closing part of the match, I think Michael Cole had mentioned that, hey, we just found out that Paul Heyman's in the building. Paul Heyman's in the building. And when Cody wins, he's coming out. And, Paul Heyman was basically saying, watch your mouth when you're challenging any member of the bloodline, especially The Rock. Now, obviously, Paul Heyman had his security force. What did he say? They were suspended NYC cops. I'm like, okay, that's great. that was pretty funny. And, Paul tries, I think the security guys get in the ring, and I think Cody said if one of these guys get in, they come closer to me, I'm going to nail them. And Cody had a chair. And Cody Rhodes basically said, the bloodline is not hunting me, I'm hunting the bloodline. And man, oh man, he beat the living crap out of those security guys. One guy took a stiff chair. I think he threw the chair right to the guy's face, and I think instead of the guy like putting his hands in a way, he just ate it. And my God, so you're starting to see this aggressive side of Cody Rhodes. Now that it's really him versus his bloodline. So it's crazy to think now that this bloodline storyline has been going on now for almost 4 years. Unbelievable that they were able to stretch out this storyline so long. And again, Roman's title reign. I think at the end, not a lot of people are going to remember the previous WWE or Universal Championship reigns that he had prior to this one. This is going to be the reign that they're going to remember the most because of the longevity that he had with the title. It's incredible. But I do have some updates for you guys, which are very, very positive. As I mentioned last week as I was closing out, that I was in the process of finalizing a new platform for shop.derricklewis.com, and it has now found a home with Bonfire. Kudos to Bonfire for being the new home for shop.derricklewis.com, and the store is now live. More options, believe it or not. So you can choose whichever design you want, and you can choose it in a hoodie, short sleeve t-shirt, obviously, or a long sleeve t-shirt, you name it. Then you have tote bags and you have coffee mugs. So they're still going to be adding things on as time moves on, but shop.derricklewis.com is open. In addition to, I have a pro wrestling tees store. That's right, baby. So for all my pro wrestling merch, it'll be specifically on that platform. So if you go to pwt.derricklewis.com, it'll take you directly to my pro wrestling tees store, and you'll be able to see 2 of my t-shirts that are up now. One is the Derrick T. Lewis logo shirt with a microphone on it. And of course, this one is for the Paulsboro faithful at the world famous Monster Factory. Those fans, they made it famous. Stroke the earring. That's right. The official Stroke the Earring t-shirt is now on my Pro Wrestling Tees store. So again, pwt.derricklewis.com. Again, all my social media, of course, is at The Real DT Lew, with the exception of Facebook, which is Derrick T. Lewis official page. And one more thing before we do close out is, as I'm recording this morning, the news broke that former WWE superstar Virgil Mike Jones passed away at age 61. Virgil is actually a product of the Monster Factory, so he and I share that lineage. For those that are long time, WWE fans, knew him when he was the bodyguard for the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Of course, once he leaves DiBiase, he becomes, really decent babyface. He beat Ted DiBiase at SummerSlam 91 for the $1 Million belt. And of course, he goes to WCW as a member of the NWO, and he had one of the most funniest Instagram pages out there when he's talking about meat sauce and breadsticks and Olive Garden, the whole nine. You know what I mean? So Virgil's going to be missed. So rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to Virgil. Well, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and as I always say, no matter what it is you do in life, always remember to make it count. See you next time.
¿Ya escuchaste hablar de G-Fiber? Te ofrecen velocidades de hasta 8 gigas en ciertas ciudades. Sí, 8 gigabytes. No importa para qué los necesites. Trabajar en casa, estudiar o crear contenido. El Internet G-Fiber te da la velocidad que necesitas para hacerlo todo. Podrás conectar cada uno de tus dispositivos sin perder velocidad. No es por nada que G-Fiber ha ganado innumerables premios. Busca tu dirección e inscríbete en fiber.google.com.